Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin mommy, and it's Monday, March 15th. Beware the Ides of March. For some reason, I always remember that from Julius Caesar, I think, Shakespeare. One of my friends had a birthday in high school. One of my high school friends had a birthday on March 15th, and I always remember that. So anyways, I am here to give you my cross-stitching update for this past week and plans for the coming week. So as it has been typically in March, there's a lot to show because I'm doing a different project every day. So let's get going. First, I'm going to do my giveaway because last week I had a couple patterns I was going to give away. One was this Santa baby pattern. These are both from the Pat Quarter Shop, the It's So Emma brand, and I guess there's nothing extra about that. So there's just this part right here. And for this one, I asked you to say the word Santa. And I had 53 unique comments with the word Santa on there. So let's see who wins this one. Start, there we go. Jane Barrel, love the vintage Santa. Thank you for another lovely video. Love watching you. Thank you, Jane. So Jane Barrel, you win the Santa pattern. So I'll have my email up here. Go ahead and email me your mailing address and I'll get that out to you hopefully this week. And then I'll switch this keyword to sheep because that's for this one, which is the Prim Stitch series, Pleasant and Gentle, number 8 of 12. And there's this really fun, big, fluffy sheep in there. And I already have this a different copy of this. So this is a duplicate pattern, so I thought I would let you guys have one. There's 54 people who wanted this one, so very even split on people that liked the two different patterns. So let's do this one. Carol Turner. I'm always so impressed to see beautiful you stitch on such small linen. Wouldn't it be fun to see a Santa ride a sheep? I think that'd be funny too. I know there have been some patterns out there that have really big animals with Santas or other things riding on them, so I could see that. that might happen sometime. So Carol, congratulations, you win the Pleasant and Gentle sheep pattern. So again, get a hold of me with email and give me your mailing address and I will get that out to you pretty soon here. So congratulations. And I have another fun thing for you guys. I noticed right before, like a few minutes before I filmed last week. So it was too soon to process it and figure out what I wanted to do, but I noticed I had passed 9,000 subscribers on this channel, which is mind-boggling to me that there's that many cross-stitchers around the world that want to come and share my stitching every week. And so thank you very much. It's really fun to have such a wonderful, supportive community of people who love this craft and to love to see what I'm working on and share with me what they're working on, and we can give each other tips. I just love it. This community has been really fun. So what I thought I would do to celebrate that is have a coupon code in my Etsy shop. And I thought I would do things divisible by 9 because it's for 9,000. So it will be an 18% off all instant download patterns. So nothing personalized or physical, just because that would create a lot of extra work for me. I don't have a lot of extra time. But anything instant download will be 18% off. And I'll start it today. And then it will go through the 27th, which is another divisible of 9. So multiple of 9. So that's the sale, and I'll have a code up here that you can use that will be 9K thanks, and then you just enter that code at checkout and anything in your cart that's instant download pattern will be 18% off. So yay, so thank you. So enjoy that for the next couple weeks, and I'll hopefully try to remember to say something again next week because it'll go for 2 weeks now because today's the 15th. So I had another because of the coupon code, I'll go ahead and remind you of a few things that are in my shop. In addition to a new one that I just put out, last week. So this is a new chart that I put up last week. It's called USA Tracker. And I made this for a customer who was, I don't know if she has an Etsy shop as well or a different kind of selling medium, but she wanted to stitch places where she sold items to. So something that has a solid outline and not backstitching outline, because if you have a solid full cross stitch outline, then you can do the outline and fill in the states as you come to them. She wanted to fill in the states as she made a sale to that particular place. And you could also do this for traveling and stitch in the places that you've traveled, or just for fun and stitch it just for fun. So this is a version with blues and grays. You could always change it up if you wanted to, but there's also parts of Mexico and Canada have been included in case you want to include those countries as well, since they're all kind of touching on the same continent. This is technically full coverage. This is stitched out here because that was what the customer requested. This is available for everybody in my shop now. But something I had thought of is if you stitched it on like a light blue fabric, then you wouldn't need to stitch the water, or you could half stitch the water or the Canada and Mexico, you know, do a little bit of cheating, I guess, to make it less work. But the stitch count is 344 by 226, so it is a little bit bigger of a pattern, but I wanted to make sure that the little New England states had a decent background without being squished, because that's something that you can't have some of the smaller states in the western area and still have clarity in the east just because of the size difference. So I wanted to make sure those little ones, you could still see the actual state and had some room to color in a color to identify the state. So anyways, that's in my shop. I also have, as you know, a variety of temperature designs, and I'll just flash through a few pictures here as I talk. So there's temperature tree, temperature quilt, temperature garden, temperature balloons, temperature typography, and those are all in my shop. There's also the Herschel and Lucy designs. I have 2 of them now posted in my shop, as well as I have one coffee collection, which is also a collaborative design with my niece. I'm hoping to get some more coffee and tea ones posted at some point, but I haven't charted it anymore yet. I have some full coverage designs that have been charted based on my personal photographs. So I have a few of those in there. And if you would like, some of them have already been converted to Pattern Keeper compatible files, but not all of them. So if you would like one and it's not compatible with Pattern Keeper, just pop me a message and I'll get that converted for you. I haven't retroactively done all of my patterns, but I'm more than happy to fix that for you and get you an updated copy. I also have a variety of like poems and Bible verses and things like that. Oh, I have some nursery prayer patterns, as well as a Jesus Loves Me that has collaboration of all the different little kids that I have in my nursery prayer options, because I have different skin tones and hair colors available for the nursery prayer patterns. And then I decided Jesus Loves the Little World. The whole can go have like one of each variety of coloring in that pattern. So that's a fun one. I think that might be most of them. So feel free to pop on over there and enjoy your coupon code to celebrate 9,000 subscribers. So I also got my copy of number 9 of the Prim Stitch series, which I'm not ready for, but that's okay. This one is called Welcoming and Cheerful, and that's really fun. I like that. That's cute. It's got some like hat boxes all stacked up there, ginormous pineapple. I'll have to figure out some fun specialty stitches to make it more spiky looking. Big flowers, so that'll be fun when I get to it. And while we're on that topic, I'll show you what I've been working on with regards to travel stitching. So first, this is my temperature typography, one of the ones in my shop. And this one is I got the A done. I don't know what I was planning to say there. It's fun. It's fun to work on. I'm doing mine on 28 count, 1/1, full crosses. This is a light blue, pale blue mystery even weave. And there's my A. Very cold. The first 3 days were the same color, and then it just got really cold and then slightly warmed up. Through all 3 purples are there at the bottom of the A. So it was a very cold week, and today's rainy still, so the beginning of the R will also be probably purpley, which is kind of unusual that we're still this cold into March, but it's fun. I like having a little bit of cold weather. It's not that cold, although there have been several days where it's dipped down to almost freezing. I think tonight it might actually get to freezing, but I think the rain is supposed to stop well before then, so probably no snow. Oh well. So it does get that low, but my colors on my typography are just for the high temperatures, and so the purples there are in the 50s. So that's usually as cold as it gets around here in the morning, or in the middle of the day. So I finally finished my church piece. This one was Faith and Endurance number 7, and I finally finished this. Here, while I have these out, I'll just show these real quick. That was number 1. I don't remember what all their names are right now. That's number 2. These are all on 25 count vintage cloth in the color Prim. There was 3 and 4, 5, 6, and here is 7. Yay, I finished it. So this will be, I'll hold this up here longer and show you next to last time. Got that pot done and the vase done and the bird and the star at the top. So the pot has like some interesting, I don't know what I was doing there, some herringbone type stitches, sort of, kind of, not really, just messing around. They probably doesn't even have a name. And then the bird is all normal cross stitches, and then this guy has the little, road stitch there in the middle, like all my other stars each. Oh, and these have road stitches in there too. Each piece has at least one of those stars, quilt stars on it. So that's fun. So I've been doing them all like that. I have them all pre-cut, ready to go, along with, this is a tip I got from my aunt. This is a template, just a piece of paper that I made an X and found the center. And there's a little hole, a pinhole there in the center. So I lay it on my new piece of fabric and I poke a hole in the middle and I know where my center is. Or conversely, if I'd rather have, an upper point, I could do that instead. So that's kind of a fun way to do it without having to fold your fabric if you've got a bunch of little pieces that are all the same size like this. So that was those. And now my Pleasant and Gentle number 8 got started. Yay! So here is my start. So I am doing these 1/1 except for the random specialty stitches that I'm just kind of making up as I go. The leaves are kind of a satin stitch of sorts. Got started on the first flower, but not much. So all the green is done. Her big bouquet that's flying away like a bunch of helium balloons. So that started. And what else was I going to say about this? Oh yeah, I am using all the called for Ari Floss colors. They were gifted to me, but they do have DMC conversions for everything. So Ari Floss is, it comes on spools, but it is not hand-dyed, it's just solid. So they come on spools and they're just solid colors. So DMC is definitely an acceptable alternative because it's not going to be, you're not going to be missing out on any variegation. So that's my travel stitching. And then I guess we'll go to my Mill Hill kit, since I think I worked on this on Monday. Should be working on this again today. This is my Buttons and Beads Winged Monarch. And I think I finished the medium green all around. I think that's what I did. Let's see, shall we? Yeah, that looks right. I don't think I did anything else. So here is where it's at now. This is on all the called for, everything, perforated paper, floss that came with the kit. I have not beaded it yet, but I have done all the cross stitching and back stitching in the butterfly and the flowers. So now I'm just working on the background. So I did some of this light medium green up here, but I did some medium green in here as well. Maybe I don't think I had a lot of time last Monday, so it might have just been the medium green you see down here. It might have been all I did. So this week, I believe I will get started on the light green, which is all the rest of the background. I think that's the last thing, and then I could bead. So the background color, there's a lot of it, so it'll probably take me several weeks to get all of that stitched. So I will still not be beading for a few more weeks, but that's okay. It's still fun. So hopefully I'll get that out today. All right, so what I worked on this week. I started out the week working on my Simpsons piece for my husband, which is this one, and it's was full coverage, but I'm not stitching the background out here. It's just solid white, and in here was just solid white, and I'm not going to do those parts, so technically it's not full coverage anymore. Gotta find, I've got a lot of whips over here waiting to show, so I don't know if I need a background. I think I had told you that I was going to try to do a little bit of outline stitching and then do some big block stitching. Well, I ended up doing all outline stitching. So this is 40 count Vertical even weave, 1/1 half stitches. So it's very tiny. But I decided to go back up to the top. There's still some outline stitches. When you start from the top down, which is what I had been doing on a lot of my other pieces, I really like that method, and so I thought, well, let's just see where these stitches end up. So I found, I think, 3 different colors up here that I ended up working around the edge of her hair, and in the, I think there was a light blue that was actually in this paper, the rip section around the circle, as well as some more outlining stitches in here. One of the blues came down here and helped define Maggie a little bit in her bow and then around her jumper thing, whatever she's wearing. So that's fun. There is a little bit more definition there. Didn't end up getting to any fill-in, but I am happy that I got those top stitches filled in, and it feels good to like slowly get things completely finished. So I did that on another piece too, and I'm really happy that I did that. So the next day was Norwegian Ship Under Sail. This is a golden kite. This is the small version. They have a bigger version, but I felt there was enough detail on this one to be satisfied. So this one, I again went back up to the top, picked a few colors that it's all the way across. Picked a few colors that were what do you call it? Not done yet, and worked them in. So basically it was in here somewhere is all I did. I'm having a hard time remembering what I did on this, but I did about 300 stitches. This is the one that I forgot to write down how much I worked on. And then the following day, I noticed that I had not written it down, and by then it was too late because Pattern Keeper keeps track of your daily stitches, but then refreshes it, I think at like 2 or 3 in the morning. Midnight was too soon apparently, so they pushed it back a little bit. So by the time I noticed it the next day, it was already refreshed and back to 0. So I have no idea how much I did. I think it was either give or take about 300 half stitches. So somewhere in here, hopefully you can see some update. This is 25 count, 2/1 half stitches is what this one is. So just a little bit of love in the sky, not a lot, but that's kind of typical of these daily pieces. It's fun, I think, to hop around sometimes. Sometimes it's nice to kind of sink your teeth in and give something several days, but other times it's kind of fun to make sure that each of my pieces gets a little bit of attention, because I love them all. I started them all for a reason, so it's fun to sometimes go back and just kind of give them a little bit of attention and move them along just that little bit. I don't know. It's fun. So this next one was Cupcake Dreams. This is not a full coverage either, but it's still something that's in Pattern Keeper. It was a Tilton Crafts freebie. I haven't checked yet. I don't know if this is back up on their website or not, but it was charted with all white around here, but I'm just stitching the foreground on some light green fabric instead. So last time I was working from the top down, picking colors, top down, left to right, picking a color and working it until the symbol runs out, or till my thread runs out, or till it gets to be too unreasonable to count any farther. So I am really pretty happy with how far I got on this one. Go ahead and put it on here so that you can see some of the green fabric. So here is where I got to on that. You can see. So this is 28 count Jubilee even weave, and it's 1/1, and it's like a mint color. It didn't have a name for the color, but it's a light green. That's pretty accurate. So I added more in the stems, and some of these, you can see some light pink came around the edges of the strawberries, and then there's even some highlights in the frosting that have started, just because of whichever color I picked, that's where it ended up before I ran out of thread. So that's fun. A little bit more structure going on that one. That one I got 213 stitches. So that's fun, not too shabby. And then the next one was End of the Ball. This one, I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, this is another one where I decided to go back, and I think I had told you guys that I was gonna pick something, pick a color that was just used a lot in the background and call it good. But again, when I got to this one and I saw those empty spaces in the top row, I just couldn't leave them there. I had to do it. So here's End of the Ball. This is another golden kite. I'm working up here in the drapes, and I was just gonna pick some of these colors right here and do big chunks if I could. But I had a few along the top that were, when I noticed last time I worked on it, they were either just a couple stitches right here and nowhere else in here until you got to the heads. And it seemed a little bit too far to count over to his head at the time, but this time around I went ahead and did it. So I had some of her hair and a little bit of this right here already stitched last time, so it was a little bit easier to just hop over there to his head. So I went ahead and filled in all these stitches and wherever they appeared in any of this area. So that's exciting. Let's see, where is that one? This is on, oh, this one keeps getting stuck in my bag. There we go. This is on 24 count Congress cloth, 2/1 half stitches. Yay! So this is where this is at now. So you can, this Congress cloth is very see-through. You can see my hand under there. So you can see a lot of my carried threads in here. But this is his head. This is her head. This is like their neck area. So his face is right here. Her face is right here. But but I managed to fill in all of this up here, which is really nice. I like that it's all filled in. And I think, so I don't think there's a whole lot that happened here. It was more out here. So this got 144 stitches, so not that much because of all the counting that was involved, but at some point you gotta count, at least I do. I know some people do not ever want to venture this far out and they don't trust their counting, and that's fine. But for me, at some point, I like to venture out a little bit, and then filling it in later, like these spots in here, is really easy once you've got a lot of structure already there. But at some point, the first color has got to go in, like these ones, you know, and then you have a little bit of a grid to work with at that point. So it looks like not a lot of anything right now, but trust me, this is neck shadow, boy head, girl head. So there's a little bit going on. And as I keep picking colors, maybe there'll be more colors that will end up appearing down there as well, and maybe make a little bit more details come together. But I am trying to be good and focus from the top down and on a lot of these pieces, and it's actually really fun. I'm enjoying working on things like that. So Friday I worked on the stitching shelf, and all of these full coverage pieces have been for various prompts in Full Coverage Fanatics for their history sprints. And so this one was for the fireside chats that FDR gave, and I was hoping to work on this fireplace, and I did a little bit. Actually, I don't know that it actually got to the fireplace. I started, did a little bit of black right underneath the shelf, and then worked my way down through these candlesticks and got a little bit of the clock, around the clock done. So I didn't actually even get to the mantle. I was hoping to. I got one length of thread finished, but I'd spent some time talking with Colette, the highway stitcher, and we stitched on a different piece during our call. So, and then the rest of the day wasn't conducive to doing a lot more than that. I was kind of hoping to maybe work my way down and around and do some orange as well, but I didn't get to the fire itself. I just made my way down and started to get to the fireplace. I got to the things on the fireplace. Does that count? So here's my, yeah, I told you what that was. I'll show you. So this is my, stitching shelf in all its glory. This is the regular size max colors. I don't think I always tell you that. But here is where I got to, right there in the middle. This is 28 count tea-dyed Monaco. I don't know if I said that. I might have. So I just did all of that. It was one length of thread, 939. It's not actually black, but this is the clock face, or the outline of the clock. I think the face is this middle part. It's on the mantle of the fireplace. So I got something started, but definitely not what I could have done if I had given it a little bit more concentrated time or more days or whatever. But that's the way it goes sometimes, and that's fine. It got a little bit of love. Every time I pull this out, it's fun to add a little bit more. At some point, I want a prompt or a reason to get this out that does not have a specific item, because I want to try to work in some of these part threads. And I could have done that anyways this time, but it's always so much fun to pick an item and work on that particular item, especially with this piece when there's so many different things in it. But at some point I would like to get those part threads finished up. It'll take a little while, but that is a goal. And I did think I did mention last time that it would be fun to have all the part threads on all of my full coverage pieces that I'm not going to continue parking on, to get those worked in by the end of the year. So maybe that in and of itself could be a good goal for that piece, just to set aside some time to just work in the part threads. Doesn't have to be part of a challenge. And then the one I worked on with Colette is Those Who Sing by The Drawn Thread. And this is one that she started on her birthday, and I started it with her for birthday sal. I received the pattern on my birthday in September, and she wanted to start it on her birthday in October. So it was meant to be. I pulled my own threads from my stash And I'm doing mine on Fabric Flares Mushroom Slushy, 32 count Lugana. And this is how far I got. So we talked for, oh, there's the rain. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. It's starting to rain hard. 2/2. This is Pine Needles by Color and Cotton, this green that I'm using. And I finished the Wish to Sing. I think I was on the S. So I did all of this while we were chit-chatting. I think it was a little over an hour and 45 minutes maybe. So that's good. I mean, it's not a ton, but when you're visiting, visiting is kind of more important than cross-stitching, but I still got a decent amount. Worked in like a thread and a half, I guess, maybe. Threads don't do as many stitches on normal count fabric because this 2/2 on 36 count is the equivalent of 16 count Aida. So that's the size of stitches that these are. Doesn't give you quite, one length of thread doesn't give you quite as many stitches as 28 count over 1, that kind of thing. So, which mathematically makes sense. So Saturday, I worked a little bit, very little bit, on By the Window in the Morning, which is going to be an anniversary piece for me and my husband next year for our 20th anniversary. So I'm going to add a quote at the top, the Ernest Hemingway quote, something about reading books together while the stars are bright, kind of thing. The one that Lindy Stitches used in one of her pieces. And then at the bottom, I'll probably put our names and wedding date down here. So I started to work in the curtain, and I knew I wanted to do a little bit of a color conversion up here because I'm stitching mine on this like dark tan 18 count Devosa, and I think all these colors would work nicely on there, but I'm also trying to do a nighttime scene, not a daytime scene. This is By the Window in the Morning, so it's meant to be bright and sunny, not dark and nighttimey. So I decided at first I for sure wanted to do these curtains a little bit more neutral that match the fabric, as well as I'll fill in the in the window panes like a half cross of maybe the darkest blue that's called for already, and just fill that in, and with some little stars in white to be stars. Since there's stars in the quote, I need some stars. And I was gonna redo the couch to be like a beige creamy couch and have 4 shades instead of the pink, have it be creams to beige, which will still pop up the fabric but not be as girly, I guess. But then as I was going, I actually pulled some of these pink colors to make sure the tones of creams and beiges that I was picking matched well enough, and they are bright, like neon burgundies and pinks, and I was a little shocked because she still has some pink here and maybe not very many other places, maybe in these flowers. So I think I haven't got a chance to do it yet, but I think what I'm gonna do at some point, I'll get out all of the called for colors on the fabric, and I think I'm gonna tone it down a bit on all of them, or most of them, because it is supposed to be a nighttime scene. So all these bright, super saturated colors don't really make a lot of sense in a nighttime scene anyways. And I think if I tone it down a bit, it might be more appealing to my husband as well. It's already kind of a cutesy scene. And I know Soda Stitch patterns are meant to be bright and cheerful and cutesy. But I think if I tone down the colors a notch a little bit, I think it'll be better suited for this purpose. So as it is, I did some work in the curtain, and then I ripped it out because I didn't like my colors. They were a little bit too dark, so then I ripped it all out and redid it in slightly lighter shades, and I think I'm happy, but not a lot of progress because of all of that. So here is where I got to briefly on Saturday. Very little to show for my efforts. This is again like a it's warmer a little bit like that, but it's a warm beige 18 count Devosa, which is like an even weave, but it is 18 count Last time I had all of this white already done with the man's white and the throw pillow right here. So this will be the shadow, these dark bits will be the shadow on the curtains. And then I have a light cream for the little dots instead of the pink dots that are on the curtain right now. And then I'll outline them, so I still won't stitch most of the curtain, just like they didn't stitch most of the curtain. And then I'm starting in on the crossbar of the window, which I will stitch in white even though they don't. They don't have any of the white stitched of the curtains or the crossbar. They have white stitched in the rest of the scene, but not up here. But because I'm doing mine dark sky, I'm not doing white fabric, I'm gonna stitch the white of the crossbar and then fill in the panes with dark blue. So mine will have a different look to it than the original, but I think it'll be nice. So I'm hoping, in addition to bringing it out every month to give it a little bit of attention, I'm hoping to maybe give it a whole week in August, which is our anniversary month, and give it some quality time in August, because then I can like make some traction, because so far these first couple months I've been more, well, this month especially, this time especially, I was thinking so much about color changes I didn't get a whole lot stitched. So, and I still need to spend time working on the color changing, so I don't know if I'll do that now or wait until next month when I pull it out, but we'll see. I feel like March is kind of a fast-paced stitching month because of changing every week or changing every day. I don't want to neglect the one I had picked for that day, so I feel a little bit like I can't spend extra time doing some of those other things. But I would maybe like to pull those colors before I totally put it away, because then what I have in my head right now, I want to maybe get it done, get it sorted, and then next time I bring it up I can just start stitching. So I might try to carve out a few minutes to work on that. And I have some more color conversion things that I want to do for other people as well, like help them pick colors for their projects. So I need to spend some time working on some of that this week. So and then Sunday got a little bit more done on African Woman with Peonies 2. This is by Artisy. And last time I worked on this, I got all the way across the top. There's still some holes in here, but I managed to reach the bottom, or the right side of the piece, which was really cool. So this time I went back in and filled in all the rows, all the symbols that were along the very topmost row, and that topmost row is completely finished now. Isn't that cool? I'm excited. So this is where I got to. This is Prim vintage cloth in the this is, yeah, vintage cloth in the color Prim, 25 count. Same stuff I'm doing the Prim Stitch Village on. This Prim Stitch series, that's what it's called. This is the whole width of the design, 2/1 half stitches, and all of the top, everything along that top line is finished. So that's exciting. So then I did some over here, you know, in these darker colors to kind of make sure I got all the top filled in. I could have gone down and worked on her eyes, which was cool, but I decided no, I'll be a good girl and keep going, working across the top. And then I came back over here and picked up some of these colors because they were in the second row and I hadn't done them yet. I think there was some browns over here too. So I got some more browns in her hand and some of the grays in the flower stem, which ended up over here somewhere, and in her head wrap over here too. So that's where you'll see the changes. And it looks a little bit crazy, but there's a method to the madness. So it's really cool. I'm enjoying that. And that's all I worked on this week, I think. Oh no, an iris. I kept working on quick stitch iris throughout the week. I should show you that. Every day, well, almost every day. On Friday, I didn't get to it. And I don't work on it on Mill Hill Mondays, but I think every other day I had worked on this a little bit, and gave it at least 65 stitches. So it's coming along, and I actually did some math when I was talking with Colette, and I may be able to finish this by the end of May if I keep working on it at the rate I am of about 65 stitches a day. That would be really cool. And then the rest of the year I can spend on waterfall in Yosemite to give that a little bit of attention every day. So this is where this is now. And this is 25 count, 1/1 full crosses. And I'm doing the same thing I've been doing on a lot of my other ones, where I'm picking symbols horizontally from the top down, left to right. So I've got a little bit more done in all the places, I think, all along here. This is the very bottom, you know, all the edges. I'm just filling in now, really. I think I finished another 1 or 2 colors, and I know I got this bit yesterday. I think I did some more. I did some more orangey yellows in here. I think I did some of this. I don't know, pretty cool. I like how it's slowly like completed, which is cool. I like seeing that. Even though the part that's not done yet looks weird. Again, method to the madness. And I like the method. It's making sense in my brain and it's fun to do. It kind of helps break up the confetti from the blocks stitching too, in a routine way that takes all the choice away, so I don't have to worry about, whoa, what color should I work on next, and deliberate long and hard over that silly decision. You just go to the next one, that's the one I'm going to work on. End of discussion. So it's kind of fun to just, I don't know, I'm really enjoying that method. So for these pattern keeper projects, that's the best method for me at this point. So I guess it's time for plans. So all of this stuff I have left here is plans. So this week will be very little full coverage. I think I have two full coverage pieces. I just realized one of them is full coverage, but since it's not in Pattern Keeper, it's not in my binder, so it's still downstairs. I'll have to put a picture in of that one. But anyways, going through history sprints in Full Coverage Fanatics, there was just a lot of gaps this week, I think, that didn't have a whole lot of events. And so I started filling in other things. And then one of them is going to be on the wrong day because I'm swapping it out for a birthday stitch along. There's 2 birthday stitch alongs this week. So it's very fun. The first one is just for my family stitching. I will be pulling out my letter L fairy again for my niece. This will be the 3rd one I'm working on. I did S for myself. I'll be doing S again later for another niece. But right now I'm working on L. I've already done H and E. So, and for these 2, I pull my own colors, and I am converting this one to a pink dress. She'll have a pink dress and a slightly purpley, a little more purpley L than the one that's showing. But I am using the called for fabric. So this is 32 count water lily linen, and that's what I'm doing all of them on. So here's my starting point for that. And I've got the girl pretty much done. She has some holes in here. This is where a vine goes in front of her, and she has some beads in her hair. But other than that, she's finished. So I can work on wings, or I can work on beads to get over to the letter L to get started on that. Starting on the vine. There's a lot of things I could do. I'm not sure, but that's my main focus piece for today. So we'll see when I pull it out what I feel like working on. I don't really know at this point. I haven't thought about it yet. So I'll work on my Mill Hill butterfly today and this one. So we'll see how much I can get done on that one. And tomorrow is the birthday start, or not start. Actually, it is a start. Tomorrow is a birthday Sal with Leanne's Small Town Stitches, and she wants to work on, she's going to be starting, I think the Middle Earth map is something that she's really wanted to start for a long time. I believe she started it a little while ago and the fabric wasn't right or something, and so she's restarting it on her birthday because it's something she really, really, really has been wanting to start for a really long time. So she told us the criteria or the theme for her birthday sal will be start something or work on something that you really, really want to start. You've just been putting it off, and do it now. So hers is Stitch What You Love B-Day Sal is the hashtag. So if you want to follow those or stitch along with her, you can use that. I am going to do my Celtic Ladies, Lavender and Lace Celtic Ladies sampler. I've had these for a few years now. I was gifted these by Belinda, the Aussie Stitcher, and she was de-stashing these. So I have all 4 of these, along with the purple needle paints, not the green ones, but I have the purple ones. I'm going to be using some 32 count, pardon me, let me get this out. Some 32 count lamb's wool linen that I think Shelly gave me. So a lot of this is like gift stuff, which is fun, but I have been wanting to do this for a long time. And I'm doing a collage of them because I'm already doing the full-size Mirabilia seasonal queens. So like, I don't need to do the Celtic Ladies. They are pretty. So I thought when she offered these to me, my first thought was, no, I don't need those. But then I was thinking, well, maybe if I just do the tops of them, then I could enjoy the patterns without actually having to stitch the whole thing. So I decided, I came up with a square. It's like about 12 by 12. And this is, the last time I worked on it, I had gotten this far. The last time I printed this out, I got that far. And now I'm this far in my charting software. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the title, winter, spring, summer, autumn. It kind of could go clockwise. They will face the center. So these 2 ladies face this way. These 2 ladies face this way. I have the big medallions on this side that go along with that. Like these are the winter medallions. These are the autumn, you know, and so forth. And then there's also some smaller medallions from the border that I put in the inside corner. So I'm taking the elements from the border. So here's the big medallions. There's the small medallions and then the title. And then the top crop of the lady. So that's kind of what I'm including in this, and it'll be a square. So I'm not completely done charting this. As you can see, this summer isn't charted and these 2 ladies are not done. But I'll probably start at the top and start working on spring, the words. Because when I'm all done, I may shift the ladies over just a little bit. They look like they're kind of they're not quite centered. And it might look okay to be off-centered, but I may shift them a little bit this way. So once I get these ladies in, I might adjust the spacing, so I don't want to start the lady yet anyways. I did notice that there's a lot of beads and petite treasure braid that this calls for that I don't have. So I've placed an order for all the goodies. So I have a unknown package arriving in the mailbox today that might be this, but it might also come later in the week. So if this comes, if I get my goodies before I start this on Tuesday, Tuesday, there's some Krynic and beads up here as well. Or not Krynic, it's called for Petite Treasure Braid, which is cool. There's some of that up here in the spring, so in the letters. So I may do some of that fun stuff too, because I think they're outlined in Petite Treasure Braid, which is fun. So I'll probably just do some letters on her birthday, but that's exciting. That's a start. I have been wanting to start for a really long time. I'm doing this I'm taking the time to chart it out in my software just so that I can have one pattern to look at and know that everything is spaced properly, rather than doing all the math and orienting everything as I go. I wanted to just do it all at once and be done with it. So that's my plan. And currently, I'm going to currently chart them in the colors that were given. I'm not doing any conversions. I know there's a lot of conversions out there. Something that I was disappointed by, though, I had thought it was more diverse with these ladies, because I think like she's got reddish hair, she's got blonde hair. They're both fairly fair. She had like a medium brown hair, and I think it looked anyways a little bit darker skin, and it looked like she had very, very dark skin. Does that look dark to you? No, that's the charted color. I was disappointed. She has the same charted colors as the Autumn Girl, but it doesn't look like that on the cover picture, so I was deceived. So here's the two that I've charted so far. She looks a lot darker. And here it's kind of a reddish picture, but doesn't she look darker? So I was kind of hoping that they would be more diverse in their skin tones. And then Summer, I guess Summer is more of, she's got blonde highlights, but she has brown undertones. And then she's very blonde. So I don't know. Once I'm done charting them all, I might play with the colors a little bit and make them more diverse, just because I thought that was fun. I was under the impression that that their skin tones were different. And so I think I want to keep going with that idea and make her darker and maybe make her a little bit more brown too. I'm not sure. We'll see. So that's fun. So Leanne, that's what I'm working on for your birthday. I'll be starting that. Even though my pattern is not completely charted, it's charted enough that I can get started on that and finally get it started. So that's what you wanted, us to work on something that we've been really wanting to start for a long time. Stitch what you love. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. So the next day is Desiree, the Addicted Stitcher's birthday. It's also St. Patrick's Day here in the States, in Ireland, I suppose. This is a day I was supposed to work on a history sprints piece, but I'll swap it for Thursday and work on Thursday's piece today, or on Wednesday, because she's going to start a Marjolaine Baston piece that's really big and it's somewhat seasonal, but it has lots of nature elements in it. So she's going to have a nature themed birthday style. So anything related to nature. And she's going to use the hashtag nature birthday style. I think it's all spelled out. So I decided to go ahead and pull this one out. I was going to do it the next day and work on my high hopes again. And because this has lots of nature elements in it, it's got birds, it's got cat, obviously, and flowers, a bee scap, lots and lots of flowers and plants and things. There's even a ladybug and a spider. There's some butterflies. So there's a lot of nature in this. This is one I was thinking of using as a memorial piece for Cinnamon as well. This one is on some random green linen, I think. It's 32 count. Don't remember what it's called. So it's like a dark dusty green. I don't know which one it is, but this is how far I've gotten on this. And I'm excited. So I'll probably come over here and work on this bird at least, and, you know, continue to do my top down thing. I have the cute little hedgehog there in the middle. That's cute. So yeah, lots of little nature elements in here. So I will definitely find something fun to work on this, and I'll be hopefully remembering to put my progress on these hashtags on Instagram. I've not been very good updating Instagram the last few weeks. It's just, I haven't even been very good at updating my the Full Coverage Fanatics Challenge group. I don't think I've posted any pictures for the history sprints yet, so I need to do that. Just not enough time to take pictures and do all of the things. So, but that's all right. So I'm going to enjoy working on both of those pieces for those ladies' birthdays. And then we'll go back to history sprints. So this is for the Full Coverage Fanatics, the first one for this week. History sprints. There was on March 17th, the first official St. Patrick's Day was in 1753. And so the theme there is green, Ireland, or rainbow. And this would have been perfect to do on the 17th because it is St. Patrick's Day, but I'm okay shifting it because Desiree is more important than St. Patrick's Day. So I will be working on Visit Endor, and this is the one I forgot my cover picture downstairs. it is this one right here. It's by Country Magic Stitch, and it's got lots of green in there. So I thought that would be a good one to do. Give this a little bit more attention. This one is not fully compatible with Pattern Keeper, so I don't like to use, I don't want to use it where it's just marking off your stitches. If it's not going to highlight the stitch for me, I don't want to use it. So I'm not going to do a partial upload of a pattern. If it works fully in Pattern Keeper, I'll use it. Otherwise, I won't. So this is where this is now. This is 28 count Dove Gray Monaco. And this is a 2/1 half stitches. The Death Star is all the way finished. I'm pretty sure I finished that last time. So I have some sky blue on my needle. So I'll work on that. And again, I'm working from the top down. So I'll do some sky and, you know, this color of the sky as well. Maybe some more trees. We'll see how much time I get. This one works up pretty quickly because it is very solid blocks of color. And this is the complete width of the design. It's very small. I'm doing this for my oldest son who likes Star Wars. So we'll see how much time I can get done on that one on Thursday. And then I have this one. Maybe I'll switch these. I have one on the 19th that I suppose could be on the 20th because I looked on the calendar. This year it looks like the spring equinox is actually on the 20th. I thought it was usually the 21st, but I think it varies a little bit. So I think I will go ahead and do Roses of Provence next and do my other one on the spring equinox. That'll be more appropriate. So this is my Mirabilia. I haven't done a whole lot on her. She's a fairly recent start, but she seemed very springy, and so I wanted to work on her a little bit in the springtime. So she is done on, I have a little card in there, 32 count Stonehenge by Color and Cotton. And this is how far I've gotten on her so far. I think the last time I finished off her face and did a little bit of the roses in her hair, so I could do more skin and maybe start the rose that she's holding, as well as move over to the tree. Actually, she's not holding a rose. She's cupping a rose that's on the tree. So I may move over and do some of that tree. Or some of her hair. Or both. So this is really pretty fabric. It's greens and pinks and purples, and I love that. I thought it was great garden fabric. So I'll work on that, I guess on Friday. 2/2 full crosses for everything, even the skin. Then the one that will be appropriate for the spring equinox on Saturday is my spring floral cross, which I was starting these last year on the first days of every season. I was gonna start my Celtic ladies closer to this date, but because they're seasonal, so I was gonna start and work on each quadrant in that appropriate season. But because of Leanne's birthday on Tuesday, I figured, well, I'll just swap it. So I'm gonna start that on Tuesday instead. Or I'll bring this one out and work on this a little bit more for the first day of spring. So this is a kit, a full kit. I'm using everything the kit calls for, or the kit comes with, including the Aida. This is on light blue, 14 count Aida. And here is my starting point. So I started in the middle, worked my way up, and now I'm, again, working from the top down. So I have a couple rows of the back stitching letters done, and then the top flowers are getting started in here, and there's some more sticks and things up here, so that's probably where I'll get to next. But yeah, that's my starting point, and looking forward to doing a little bit more on that one on Saturday. And then I have one more History Sprints piece this week. So last week there were 2 that were not History Sprint, oh, 3, I guess, never mind. this week there's only 2 that are history sprints. So my other history sprints event is on March 22nd, 1457. The Gutenberg Bible became the first printed book. So the theme for this one is books. And I could have worked on the stitching shelf again, but I decided instead to work on Bear Time Stories by Randall Spangler. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs. I have the mini Bear Time Stories. I thought it'd be fun. He's obviously got a book there reading to the little dragons. This is for one of my sons. This is also 40 count Vertical even weave, 1/1 half stitches, which like I'm doing the Simpsons piece on. And I am doing this extreme cross country most of the time. I did work on the cookie last time, which had some different colors, but everything else I'm doing is this first color so far. So at this point, I'll keep going with that color. Maybe I'll get it finished. It is a Sunday, so sometimes I have extra time on Sunday. So we'll see how far I can get on this one on Sunday for history sprints. And I think that is everything I have to show you. That's a lot. So if your head's not, if your head's done spinning now, I can sign off. Let's see. Oh yeah, I may also be stitching again with Desiree on Friday. I forgot to bring it, but I'll be working on my His Name is Jesus piece as well while we chit chat. And that looks like this. And I have Prince of Peace. I'm working on the word peace right now. So I'll show you next time the progress I make on that one. So I guess that's everything I had to show you, as if it weren't enough. So anyways, I had fun sharing all of that with you. I'm having fun working on all of it, and it'll be different but interesting and good to work on a lot of non-full coverage this week. So that'll be new, and not new, but a little bit different for what I've been working on a lot of full coverage. So it'll be nice to kind of branch out and do a little bit more regular cross stitching this week. So look forward to seeing more of that and what I managed to do this coming week. So with that, I have to go pick up my kids from school because they're at school for their half days now. And I hope you have fun working on whatever you're working on, and happy stitching. Bye.